structural change or maintenance,
Well,
that's the public property committee.
I guess I was just gonna come here to respectfully ask that you take the locks off the court, and, when it sounds like the contractors are moving along, and,
See, the fact is, there's
another
no
week
need
or two
for
is.
Yes.
Becky, you mentioned the word compromise, satisfy all parties, try to get along. If you were doing that, that probably means you already have the tape ready to strike the course at Washington if you're gonna satisfy all parties. Do you have that tape ordered, and do the city employees have a diagram of the court in order to do that? If you're gonna satisfy everybody?
We were just discussing moving the nets and using temporary striping until US Tennis came in to permanently
Okay,
stripe.
and that's great, so that means you plan for it, that means you have the special tape that does not harm the tennis courts, and it is a very special tape. It must mean the city employees have the diagram.
They're resurfacing.
The city employees must have the diagram in order to lay out the court, and they're ready to do that if you're satisfying all parties. Is any of that been ordered or given to the city employees before the locks were put on?
As far as the conversation went with,
I take,
Ferrari,
Rodney, just a second, I haven't received an answer. Do the city employees have the diagram, and are they capable of laying out the courts, and do they have the tape?
I don't know the answer to that.
I'd have to say the answer is probably no, which means you're not really planning on compromising with everybody and satisfying everybody. You're just locking the gates to a public park.
we have to lock them up if we make a transition. What are we gonna do when US Tennis Court comes in and it takes them 3 days to do it? Are we gonna leave the
No,
gate
it
open?
gets locked up.
Okay, that's
Again, you've been using the word compromise, satisfy all parties. That means you were ready to transition us to Washington Park, and you don't have the tape or the diagrams or the expertise to do it.
Okay, let me ask you this, Jim. This was presented as a portable sport. So if you're gonna take your portable
I
sport and move
agree,
it to the
let's
parking
move
lot
it.
here, how are you gonna strike
Let's
it?
move it to Washington, which means you have the stuff ordered already.
But
And it's ready to do because you want to satisfy everyone.
This isn't our area of expertise, it's yours. So why isn't the recreation board trying to find a way to move pickleball to
I have no idea,
Washington
you'll
Park?
have to ask them.
Yeah,
This is a phone call.
All right,
No, we're
and
not.
please understand that this is the
We're
first
not.
definitive answer we've received.
And we just got it, I just heard this an hour and a half ago myself.
But please
Convenient,
understand,
isn't it?
I don't understand the transition. The crew comes in from Lockport, strips it down, gets it done, gets out of town. Why do we need a transition? Why can't we play, as we noted in the minutes and recommended to the city council, until we get it done? There's no one dragging their feet. If you think there's an ulterior motive, there has never been. We're excited about the prospect.
Good,
And we're excited
then
too.
help us get it done.
Help us play on 28th Street Park till it's done, which might be just another week, so.
might
It's
just be another week.
It
Might be.
seems so unreasonable that you would lock
It's
a
not
public park
I have a
to
question.
the citizens.
What happens when, okay, they're saying, yes, we all are taxpayers, and what happens when next week comes, which it should be done by next week, you're saying, but it rains every day, and then it rains the next week and the next week?
Or it could be
Now
summer
what?
too.
Well, it could be, but it could rain. Then what? So then now we're at the end of the summer and we're not,
Well, I would answer that, may I answer that?
Absolutely.
I would answer that by saying a week before, not even a week, before our scheduled camps at Washington Park, we would have to do a temporary transition to be able to teach lessons. So now we're talking 18th of June, the camps start on the 23rd of June.
So you-
Would you agree with that?
you would do a temporary transition then, but not now.
It doesn't make any sense to do it now. Why would we pay manpower, why would we pay city workers to strike two courts?
We wouldn't, volunteers
When
could
they
do
don't
it.
have to?
Volunteers could do it.
But it doesn't make any sense. Just
Volunteers
think about
can
it,
do
Ronnie. Where is the sense in this?
To make everybody happy.
To make everyone, to make two people happy and
Wait,
25 people.
As I said, I just spoke to Dan Ferrari.
Two people versus
He mentioned,
25.
and I told him I would get the crew together. I'm a volunteer,
25
crew.
in
I can pull a volunteer group of 50 people tomorrow and help you restart.
Doesn't make sense.
There's only two people
No.
involved.
It takes,
And
I think
they're
we're
25.
all on the same playing field that it says unlock the gates and resume pickleball up there. It might be a week.
We'll give
Might
you
be a week.
compromise. We'll give you
It might be
dates.
2 weeks. But they promised us, an hour and a half was when I heard them, that they will start this week with post-work. And we just don't see how June 1st became the date. When I said spring/summer,
We
weather
were
permitting, it's
asking, we were
right there, black
asking
and white.
for some timeframes and what the plan was, and we weren't getting any response.
Okay, unlock the gates
So
until
we-
June 18th, and we'll be happy.
Oh, June 18th.
And I think it'll be before, well before then.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
People not gonna work this out, I didn't know that.
it's their lockdown. We went over to play tonight.
No, you didn't go over there and play tonight, they were locked up, you guys knew about that this afternoon,
That's right,
We
you
were
didn't
gonna
go
play
over
that.
there.
but, and that's possible,
You didn't go.
and I'm sure you were,
We
but,
were.
you know, you had noticed for a month now that it's gonna be locked up on June 1st. So you should have planned.
Can I tell you, Rodney, I didn't believe it in a million years.
Well,
that
then
it
you've
would
got to,
happen.
you can't take us for granted because we do what we say we're gonna do.
Okay, so June 8th, here's the compromise. Let's consider June
That's not
18th,
compromise.
and we're gone by then.
Mm-mm.
I think it'll be, I truly might indicate it will be, you know, I understand the weather thing. I think it'll be
So I
next
give
week,
them a
but
week.
I'd
that
give
is
them a
weather
week.
permitting. And I think the compromise can be June 18th if you agree.
So wait, let me ask you this, June 18th, then what happens? We lock the gate? But why is it okay to lock the gate on June 18th if it's gonna rain the rest of the month?
Because we're
But
gonna
it's
have to
not
get,
okay
we're gonna
now?
have to get set up for a pickleball clinic on the 23rd. And you're not gonna let us play there, so we will set up our camp at Washington Park.
Somebody mentioned before
It's
that
still locking it up.
there were kids up at 28th Street Park with their parents, I assume. They
Yes.
wanted to play tennis up there.
Right.
They would play tennis. So like Janice said before, I don't want to beat a dead horse, of course, but we have 5 other tennis courts in Peru. We do not have a baseball diamond north of Shooting Park Road. And those kids go to, for girls, Sunset Park, McKinley Park, for the boys, Washington Park, Veterans Park. You go where you have to go. It's not because you can't play there, we're gonna lock it up.
And that should work the same with pickleball too. I mean, I think pickleball players are gonna have to go where they have to go to play pickleball.
But
And I-
there's no place to go to play pickleball because you locked it down.
But I
The
think
portable
making a
game.
Temporary portable transition over to Washington
You
Park.
haven't played.
I mean, it takes just a few minutes to remove the
You
nets at
haven't played at
Washington
all.
Park. I mean, there's not gonna be a whole lot of manpower involved. And then the portable nets being set up there, I don't think is an issue.
And again, the tape, the special tape that you need for it.
Well, I go from
No,
Toronto,
I-
it's gonna be.
Or you could use any tape, but
So
you
what
have
do
to
you, what do
remove
you
the
use on
surface.
the
They're gonna
18th of
reduce
June?
surface anyway.
What do you have a tape on hand for the June 18th if there's no,
We will have them on hand, that gives us 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
what, then, again, I don't understand why that wasn't planned when you had
Don't
30-day
give them
But they
notice,
don't have it today.
but you don't have it today.
Well, you passed the, you locked the gates and you don't have the tape, and you said you wanted a compromise with it.